Irish guy, and lads, Premier League Gameweek 11. I'm excited to do these predictions because last week I predicted Arsenal would win 5-0, that Brighton and Fulham would play out a 1-1 draw, that Phil Foden would score at Old Trafford. I am on a roll right now, lads. Every week I get at least one prediction 100% accurate. So if this is a game where I don't get one scoreline 100% perfect, then yeah, I will dunk a bucket of ice and milk over my head. But lads, it won't happen. Right, let's go. Fulham 1, Man United 2. Fulham despise playing against Man United. Surely no Fulham fan in the world actually enjoys playing against the Red Devils. Well, not unless they're one of those creepy blokes who weirdly enjoy pain. You know, the type who get a thrill out of jamming their finger in a door or sitting through an entire DVD box set of Joey. I mean, is that a laugh track? Or did HBO threaten to throw a grenade in the live audience if they didn't force out a chuckle? Well, lads, Fulham have not beaten Man United since Christmas 2009. Back in the days, Notty Murs had only been famous for about 2 weeks, as opposed to nowadays, where we as a society are so sick of that man that every time we see his face on the telly, we feel like vomiting out last night's lasagna. This is painful for Fulham. A year ago, Alejandro Garnacho was belting in a 93rd minute winner at their ground. And considering he looks like an egocentric brat, honestly, he gives me adult to rap vibes. I wouldn't be shocked to learn that he spits at lunch ladies in the eye if they serve him a cold croissant. Well, considering he was the one wheeling away having scored the winner in an almost eerie flashback of Cristiano Ronaldo once doing the exact same thing at this ground in 2007. Yeah, that evening was probably about as much fun for Fulham fans as if they'd agreed to let a lion eat their baby at the zoo. On their last 2 visits to Craven Cottage, Manchester United have won 2-1, so I have to go for the exact same thing again. Yeah, Fulham will take an early lead through Willian before Christian Eriksen whips in a thunderous free kick in the second half before, yeah, a late winner from an underperforming Marcus Rashford, or maybe Mason Mount. Just you watch. Brentford 3, West Ham 0. This will be the turning point in the season for West Ham, the one match with their fans. After watching their team get bullied off the pitch by Everton last week, to see them now trounced at the Bees. Oh, they're going to moan, whine, and complain. I bet like Will Smith's wife whenever she hears someone making a G.I. Jane joke, or just in general actually. She always looked like she's more somber than someone at a baby's funeral. But listen, I said last week that Thomas Frank had Chelsea's number. Yeah. Yes, David Moyes number 2. They've beaten West Ham in 4 out of the last 5 meetings. Moyes should be terrified of Frank. And again, not just because he looks like that goblin who helped invent Frankenstein. Not just because he looks like he wanted his face chewed off by a rabid donkey when he was 12. Yes, Frank looks like a scary mini ogre, but he is proving himself to be an absolutely quality modern coach. This battle is going to show up Moyes as being a bit of a dinosaur. Brentford will absolutely rip them to bits with goals from Brian and Bemo, Christian Norgard, and I'm going to go with the Kurt Zouma own goal. I mean, maybe it won't be him, but someone in that West Ham team is scoring an own goal. I know they are. I can feel it. Burnley 1, Crystal Palace 0. This is a turning point. When teams are in an absolutely wretched run of form, after a rock-bottom start, they always manage to stop the rot with a 1-0 win. Like Crystal Palace in November 2013. They began the season with 9 defeats in 10, but then they snatched a 1-0 win at Hull and didn't look back. Both Derby County and Sheffield United in 2007 and 2020 were winless for months, both looking like the worst Premier League team of all time, before they both snuck their first win of the season 1-0 against Newcastle at home. We've got Vincent Kompany coming face to face with Roy Hodgson. Kompany has had less than 170 games as a manager. Hodgson has had over 1,250. He has spent a third of his life standing in a freezing dugout, belting out tactics whilst his stomach yearns for a slice of toast and a cookie. Hodgson was a football manager back when Kompany's mum was still at school. This really should be a battle between a master and an utter novice, but I'm sorry, I'm still backing the 37-year-old student. Burnley need to win this match for the sake of keeping their fans on side. Turf Moor has not seen a Burnley win since they beat Cardiff in May. Yeah, it's nearly Christmas now. This is a stadium which has seen 3 Burnley wins since February against Cardiff, Sheffield United and Wigan. That's it. If they cannot see off mid-table Premier League fodder like Palace, a club which has been stuck on pause ever since they binned off Vieira, then Burnley fans might as well kiss goodbye to survival. I'm going to go with a hard-fought 1-0 Burnley win, with Josh Cullen belting in an important late goal to take the roof off the stadium. Trust me, Burnley are winning 1-0. Everton 3, Brighton 3. Look, most people probably think that Brighton are going to rip Everton apart, as if their entire team was made of butter. But Everton versus Brentford is one of the most unpredictable games of the season. Last season, Brighton won 4-1 at Goodison Park, before Everton won 5-1 at the Amex. Honestly, if that was a 2-legged knockout match, it would have been historic. I believe when Deportivo La Coruña lost 4-1 to AC Milan in the Champions League in the spring of 2004, only to beat them 4-0 in Spain 2 weeks later. Before that, Brighton stuck a 3-2 win at Everton in January 2022, but the Toffees had smashed them 4-2 at home when Carlo Ancelotti was at the wheel. And before that, in late 2019, Brighton had beat them 3-2 at home. There are always goals in this fixture. There has been 16 goals scored in the last 3 meetings alone. For anybody predicting a 0-0 or a dour 1-0 for either club. Please stop drinking poison milkshakes and do some research. This is absolutely going to be a goal fest. And first on match of the day, honestly, lads, if this game is somehow last on match of the day, then I will pour 5 litres of scrambled egg on my face. This is going to be a manic 3-3 draw with the toffee showing absolute spirit. There will be 6 different goal scorers on Saturday. Abdoulaye Doucouré, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Kaoru Mitoma, Evan Ferguson, Ansu Fati, and let's say Dele Alli off the bench. Okay, let's not go nuts. I don't know. Youssef Chermissi bagging a late equalizer from the bench. Just you watch. Man City 2, Bournemouth 2. Yeah, you probably all think that I am insane. I'm sorry. Do I look insane to you? No team in the Premier League has a worse record against Man City than Bournemouth. They have lost every single one of the last 13 games against Man City. Ever since promotion in 2015, the cherry's been regularly crushed like a flower. Poor old Eddie Howe is consistently getting chewed up and spat out like soggy cauliflower whenever he tried to pit his wits against Pellegrini or Guardiola. Bournemouth have never beat Man City in their history. Man City scored at least 4 goals or more against Bournemouth 6 times since 2015. By all rights, I should be predicting another mammoth 4-0 win, especially considering Bournemouth are in the bottom 4, with Andoni Iraola regularly getting barbecued by the mainstream media. But I'm sorry, everybody is sleeping on Bournemouth. Everybody thinks they're probably going to be ripped apart on Saturday. Just an absolute sitting duck. As if you're throwing a bunch of Girl Scouts into a cage with a wolf. That's going to be blood and cookies everywhere. But no, I genuinely believe we're about to watch Man City, for the first time ever, drop Premier League points against the Cherries. I reckon they'll coast into an early 2-goal lead before half-time. Haaland and Foden with the goals, with Haaland still absolutely fuming to have lost the Ballon d'Or. Honestly, even this morning, he's probably angrily chucked the bowl of cornflakes at his mum. I think Iraola will produce a half-time masterclass. They'll come out, nick an early goal through ex-City boy David Brooks, before absolute scenes when Luis Sinisterra pings an absolute wonder goal into the top bins with just 3 minutes left to absolutely silence the Etihad and produce the result of the weekend. Trust me, this is going to be the match where Iraola proves he is special. Like in February 2013, when Mauricio Pochettino announced himself to the world by getting newly promoted Southampton to spank Man City 3-1 within just a month of him taking the job. Trust me, Bournemouth are going to produce a madness. Sheffield United 0, Wolves 1. It's Sheffield United. Of course they're going to lose. 1-0, Sasa Kalacic with the winner for Wolves. And I swear, if the Blade still refuses like Paul Heckingbottom after that, then, what? Newcastle 1, Arsenal 0. Considering it's such a mammoth trip from North London to the cold, wet, windy mist of Newcastle, making the trip from the nation's capital to the brink of Scotland, I am sort of impressed how Arsenal have such a good record at St James's Park. They've only actually lost to this ground 4 times since 1996. Since 1996, there have been 23 trips to Newcastle where they've managed not to lose. You would assume the Gunners would have been absolutely traumatized by chucking away a 4-0 first half lead on this ground in February 2011. By the full-time whistle, they were incredibly lucky not to lose the match. Considering the noise of that crowd clearly petrified those Arsenal players that afternoon, you would assume that this stadium, to the club, would be scarier than a bath with Susan Boyle. But no, to be fair, they only conceded a combined 1 goal in the next 5 trips. Arsenal are usually calm amidst the chaos of St James's Park. I mean, except for that one evening in May 2022, where they lost 2-0 in the cold, battling Champions League qualification, and Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher were literally predicting when Mikel Arteta would lose his job. But you know what? I think Newcastle will win this one. I think this could be an incredibly tense, thrilling mile-a-minute match. This will actually be the game of the weekend. Both Newcastle and Arsenal will attack. They'll both hit the post, top the crossbar. This is a game where either team could win it. They will both have a sickening amount of chances. It's going to be an absolute cracker, but yeah, I reckon Sean Longstaff will drive in an 80th minute winner. The ground will absolutely erupt, and Arteta will do his post-match interview looking like a 9-year-old boy who's just discovered that Santa Claus pooed in his shoe. Nottingham Forest 1, Aston Villa 3. This is weird. Nottingham Forest versus Aston Villa might seem like just a regular, banal, orderly Premier League fixture, but it's actually an historic heavyweight battle between 2 former European champions, 2 clubs who've lifted the actual Champions League. I mean, what? It's been like Tyson Fury having a fight with Ricky Hatton when they're both in their mid-70s with crying cholesterols, begging for mercy, and beer bellies that actually touch their toes. But yeah, pretty simple this. Aston Villa are actually incredible this season, and Unai Emery is going to absolutely terrorize Steve Cooper this season. Steve Cooper is going to look more miserable than he looks if he tried to download Tinder on his phone. I'm going to go with a 3-1 away win with goals from Ollie Watkins, Moussa Diaby, and weirdly John Duran, with Morgan Gibbs-White scoring a penalty for Forest. Pretty simple. Villa are going to blow Forest into the sea. Luton Town 0, Liverpool 6. Who predicts a 6-0 win? I don't know. Maybe someone who on this channel accurately predicted a 5-0 win last week. So less of that, please. Are you telling me that Liverpool are not capable of travelling to Luton Town's Garden Shed and not scoring 6? 3 years ago, they travelled to Crystal Palace and left with a casual 7-0 win. Who saw that coming? I mean, to be fair, that was kind of a case of where the Reds just used up all their goals for the year because they could barely score for about 4 months after that. Honestly, 7 goals in one afternoon and then just 11 goals in the next 14 games. What a weird year. But yeah, I'm sorry, Luton, but you're going to be absolutely destroyed. Poor old Rob Edwards is going to have the most humiliating afternoon of his life. As if he just come back from work to find his wife kissing that fat postman on the couch. You know, the one that looks like a cross between Danny DeVito and that Star Wars jellyfish. I'm going to go with 2 goals from Mo Salah, 2 goals from Diogo Jota, 1 from Darwin Núñez, and 1 from Dominic Solis-By. How is he still stuck in just 1 Premier League goal? 6. Actual 6. Just you watch. I'm gonna look like a complete genius. And if Liverpool don't win this ground, I'll get someone to slap a sausage roll off my face. Tottenham 0, Chelsea 0. Oh, this is gonna be weird. Let's be honest. We all know that Richard Pochettino would rather be managing Spurs than Chelsea. They are the club who got away, but I'm sorry. You can quit the sad little puppy eyes at being ruthlessly sacked by Levy, because I remember 6 months earlier, this fellow was hinting to the media that he was a burnt out sludge puppet. He was saying that if Spurs won the Champions League, that he'd walk away and go do something else.
Winning the Champions League, it should be fantastic, no? Close the 5-year chapter and go home.
Yeah, he was distracted by the Manchester United links.
To win the Champions League with Tottenham in these circumstances this season, maybe I need to think about maybe doing something different in the future.
This was the man who initiated that breakup, not Daniel. Don't forget that. Well, listen, I reckon this will be a horrible match. Tottenham will dominate possession, have the lion's share of chances, but Chelsea will dig in and grind out a 0-0 draw in what is an ugly, horrible Monday night match in the rain, with Pochettino just spending the entire second half just jealously staring at Postecoglou and fantasizing about flushing him down the loo. Anyway, that's the video. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. What are your predictions? Let me know in the comments section. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give a like, subscribe as always. I'll talk to you in a while.